Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, I wanted to do a quick video on resurrecting Marx motors from the dead. And if there was ever a dead motor, it was this one. I got this a couple of weeks ago, and as you see, the E-unit has been removed completely from the motor. And both of the coil wires were broken off. Now, if this coil wire is broken off, you can still save it by simply pushing down on the wire, going the other side and taking one of the turns off and using that. This one was broken off right there. So I've just got it mated to a piece of bell wire. And then to do the bypass, since there is no E-unit, you run power to this side of the coil, run this side of the coil to the brushes. And as you see, I've installed a new brush wire as well. So if you have a dead motor, especially because of coil damage, they're not beyond repair, even in this case where the E-unit's been ripped out of it. It only took a few minutes once you know how to do this. And as you see, this motor runs really, really well. So this was dead as a proverbial hammer when it arrived. And it was never going to run again until some judicious tweaking had been done to it. But as you see, it's actually running really, really well. It runs forward only, but it runs. That's the important part. So these Marx motors are virtually indestructible. That being a relative term, the thing that will destroy them faster than anything else is simple neglect. A lot of these Marx locomotives I buy, I've got 156 of them now. I buy the cheapest stuff I can find, the worst condition stuff that's actually for sale. And many times I'm the only bidder on it because nobody else wants it. And I buy them just for the challenge of fixing them. I taught myself how to do this. So it's a ongoing learning process. You're always finding some new way to do it easier or make it more efficient to repair one of these motors. They're pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot of moving parts. It's a really robust design. But weather will kill them. A lot of these things have been sitting sometimes in a shed or an attic or a damp basement for the last 60 years, and they're just in dreadful condition. This one, of course, somebody had to physically remove that E-unit, and in the process broke both of the coil wires. So I got it for parts, basically. But after I started looking at it, I thought a few minutes work, I can get this thing up and running. So like I said, it took one turn off the coil to give me some usable wire on this side. This coil wire was broken off right there, so like I said, I just got it mated to a piece of bell wire and then run up to the headlight to supply power. And then I ran another piece of bell wire down to the brush plate. Now the original wires on here were steel and they were welded on, they were spot welded on. And when you try to solder to this, it's almost impossible. So what you have to do is take an X-Acto knife or the point of an awl, something sharp, and actually scrape the surface, and you'll expose some bare brass, and of course you can solder directly to it. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on this. As I always stress, don't overlook the junk. You know, this was going to be nothing but parts, but as you can see, it's running actually quite well. So you can drop this into a locomotive shell and have yourself a Marx running locomotive that costs you virtually nothing. So as I stress, don't overlook the junk. Spend a few minutes getting to know these things. Once you know how these work, you can fix virtually anything you can find, regardless of what it is. And out of one of these motors, with the parts, if you can't repair it, the parts out of this motor will repair 5, 6 others. No two of them have exactly the same problem. And so there's lots of parts in this motor. And it only takes a few minutes to pull these things apart. And once you have a wheel puller and a wheel press, you can repair anything. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on this motor. Don't overlook the junk. Like I said, this thing was dead as the proverbial hammer, and it was never going to run again. But a few minutes work, it's up and running, and it's now a usable motor. You can drop it into a shell, and you have a running locomotive. So just a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop an email. BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.